Hello, hello. Oh, I am thrilled. This one is my heart. I cannot even believe this is happening. You are with Roxy, the host of Embracing What's Possible with Roxy. I cannot even believe the guests that I have tonight and this special segment. Thanks to our Prospera producer, Elena Rodriguez, for allowing us to do this unbelievable segment tonight. We are talking about New England Fashion Week. My guests are all part of the inclusion world, part of advocacy in the disability world. And we have me, who's stepping out as a designer, and I'm launching my brand, Roxy's, which you've been hearing some teasing about, but I haven't been talking about it because we've been having Employment Month. One of our unbelievable sponsors is on with us tonight, Christy Raymond of Humankind, and she's just heart, and she brings forth the joy and the education that is my heart. And I cannot wait to introduce Sandy of Zipper Buddy and wait until you hear about this unbelievable product, and Safia, a new bestie, a new sister who I just met, and she is the producer of New England Fashion Week. And she also is an advocate and part of our inclusion series and part of us that are working hard as women who have differently able needs, who that we are capable people doing the things and making it happen. So again, I'm your host. This is our special segment tonight of my joy and my heart that we're talking about New England Fashion Week. I am going to introduce our wonderful, wonderful guests tonight. Christy, since you're one of my amazing sponsors, I'm going to have you go first, and then Sandy, and then Safia. Please introduce yourselves, and let's have an enjoyable conversation about why Embracing What Possible with Roxy is all about disability education, awareness, and the spotlight on all of our abilities. Christy, take it away.
Thanks, Roxy. It is so nice to be here, and I am super excited to once again be working with Sophia
Mm.
with New England Fashion Week because I think everybody should go to a fashion show at least once. Come on, if you wear clothes, you belong at a fashion show. They are fun and they are educational, and that's what I think is really the most exciting part of our collaboration and the collaboration we're doing this season with Sandy at Zipper Buddy is really educating the public about what's out there, what's possible for them to wear, what's possible for them to bring back to their
Mhm.
friend or family that might need it, right? They need to know that these products are available, and what better way to show them is on the runway. So I'm super excited that models that we'll be featuring are individuals who have come through our Beauty Has No Limits photo clinics. Some are seasoned veterans who have done several seasons of fashion shows with us, and we got a lot of newcomers too. So we're really excited to have them have their opportunity to rock the runway.
Oh my gosh, Christy, that was fabulous. Thank you. Sandy of Zipper Buddy. Take it away, my dear.
Ah! Okay. I never. Every time I do this introduction, it changes. All right. I am the founder of Zipper Buddy. We got started at school. I'm 37. I went back to school later in life.
So tell me about the school. What you keep mentioning school. Was it college? Was it university? What was it?
So after getting my associates, I realized that I wanted to get my bachelor's, and so I started going to UMass.
Okay. And then at UMass, where did Zipper Buddy come in? Was like you trying to get zippers up and people were yelling about zippers? Tell us about Zipper Buddy.
Oh my God. Okay. It was crazy. I was a psychology major and I started taking I've been an artist my whole life. I started taking art classes like for my honestly my mental health and my well-being. But my disability is kind of what made me nervous about going back to school. And then my professor was like, hey, we're going to start this brand new class. We've never done it. It's called Adaptive Devices for a Better Life. It's where students meet with people with real disabilities to solve for real life problems. This is where we innovate. She asked if I would be one of the people with disability to like that they could be interviewed. And I was like, oh, can I also take the class though? Because like I have a lot of ideas. So she said yes. So I got to be both a student and a client. And I went into it totally set on inventing all the things for myself because at this point my disability progressed. I'm starting to use mobility aids. I've just found out I'm autistic. I'm like, oh man, everything in my life has just changed. And then I met this man named Bob, and he shares his story. He's one of the clients. He had a stroke. He couldn't use the left side of his body. I went into class that day feeling sorry for myself because I just got rained on because I can't hold an umbrella when I'm using a rollator. You just, it takes two hands to push a roll. So I'm feeling bad about myself. And then Bob shares his story after having a stroke. He can't even zip up his coat, right? Like, this is part of his story. He cannot. I feel bad because I can't hold an umbrella. Meanwhile, he can't zip his coat. And I'm obsessed with this after he says this. Like, the weather is really affecting me. I start researching it. I start thinking about it. I'm like, this is actually a big deal. Convinced I'll find a solution. Convinced because it's zippers. We all use them. We all have them on everything we wear. We're in New England. It's probably a Google away. Nope. And no. So I was like, okay, well, that's what this class is for. I'll invent it. At first, people didn't get it. They didn't, whatever. I fought for it. I made a working prototype, won a bunch of competitions, and now I made Bob. I made Bob like 20 versions of Zipper Buddies right away. And found out that this is like a universal, like a much bigger issue. And now I guess.
And look at what advocacy, the power of you needing to do your own research, created. I mean, this was a wonderful segment. We'll come back to a couple of things. You gave us a really
I'm
good.
sorry, that was so long.
No, you gave us really, don't be sorry. You gave us a really good introduction.
Thank you
I
for
just
that.
want to bring Safia on and tell us all about the wonderful things that New England Fashion Week is and let her introduce herself. And then we'll come up with more conversation on all of the amazing things that we're up to.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. I'm glad we could make this happen. I went to bed and actually, I think I texted you at like 11 o'clock at night and was like, hey, why aren't we talking about this? This is a deep conversation in talking about inclusion as a whole, but because we're, gearing for New England Fashion Week, let's talk about inclusion in fashion. And that just got us to rapping. And by the next morning, I think we were on the phone at like 7 a.m. and we
We were.
5 to 6 times throughout the day. So again, I'm just really excited. I'm glad that we could get you guys here with us. And what I wanted to bring to this conversation is that personally, because I am someone with disabilities and I'm a mom of young men who have disabilities, I'm an aunt, cousin of people who have disabilities. I've turned into kind of the family advocate because I really want to make sure, starting at home, that I don't feel, different. Yes, there's some things that I had to adapt, and a new version of Sophia needed to be created once I, was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, but I didn't want to feel different in any way. And so that's what I'm hoping I'm allowing for my son and then anything that I touch, right? That they're never feeling out of place. I want them to be leaders and lead and not follow, but I don't want them to feel that there's something wrong with them and that they're different than their peers. So I'm really excited about, what we're doing as a group. And when Christy came, I think it was 2 years ago, you called and was like, hey, this is what I want to do with New England Fashion Week. What do you think? And I'm like, absolutely. I called Cynthia, and Cynthia's like, woo. And if you know Cynthia, you know that what I just did is all Cynthia. She was thoroughly excited about the idea. anyone from New England that doesn't know who Christy Raymond is, you've been under a rock. Christy puts her heart and soul into anything she does. And so we knew it was going to be an amazing segment. And they opened the show, and I mean, the crowd wasn't expecting it, right? So it was just
Oh,
everyone from
interesting.
every levels was like, this is amazing. And I think the message that we really wanted to hone in on is inclusion is not hard.
Mm-mm.
Just need to be intentful. You need to, think about what it is you're doing and why you're doing it. So it was a natural, instinct to invite Christy to come back this year, produce another segment. And we lucked out and got two segments that, Christy's going to be producing, Zipper Buddy and Rock Ease. And I just really, like I said, I'm excited about it from all types of personal levels. And Cynthia Hudson, owner of New England Fashion Week, we're always talking about how do we make New England Fashion Week stand out to all fashion weeks? And not that I'm looking to become this direct competitor of this fashion week or that fashion week, but I want you to walk away from New England Fashion Week and be like, wow, that was this. Point something out that you just don't get every time you go to a fashion show, or even sometimes just outside, right? There's just a lot of times you're out there and you just don't see the inclusion on a great on a larger scale. And so that's what I'm looking for with my involvement with New England Fashion Week, is that I want to put on a quality fashion week, or fashion show that highlights designers, that allows the consumers, the attendees, to really get a chance to see what each and every person has been able to produce. And then hopefully they become consumers. I mean,
Right.
that's part of the biggest goal, right? Fashion weeks or fashion shows initially started because we were selling to the direct stores. Now that's
Mm.
shifted over the years, and we're selling directly to consumers, everyday people. And so our fashion should reflect what everyday people look like, what everyday people wear, and what everyday people need. Um, and I'll share just very quickly, I don't have a physical disability. My disability is all internal. Every day I'm in a fight with me. You never know what, you're gonna get. But when that relapse happened and I was not in a position to walk or talk or drive, I'm left-handed, so to lose mobility on my left side was a struggle. Brushing my teeth, combing my hair, all the things that I'm used to doing with my left hand, I had to adapt and figure out how to do it with my right, or tag in family members who are willing to participate in certain activities that maybe they didn't, wouldn't think was on their checkoff list. And it got really to a place where it was even difficult sometimes putting on my socks, putting on my shoes. So when I think about individuals whose disabilities range further than my short-term disabilities, I'm always like, what can we do? How do we, what product is next? What's going to help, us adapt and be able to really still walk into that room and not feel different? Because there were days where I felt really out of pocket in my own family because I was walking differently. My arm was drooped, I had signs of a stroke. So there was still some things physically, that you could kind of see I was off. And so that is where I want to make sure that any and everything that I'm a part of feels it isn't inclusive, and you feel it and you see it and you understand that it's with intent. It wasn't an accident. It didn't accidentally happen. I'm moving with pure intention of making sure that everything I'm doing is inclusive, and that no one ever walks away and feels like they couldn't participate in something that I had a hand in. So
The thing that I'm going to express from all of us is passion
yeah.
and depth. And I mean, this has been my life since early childhood. And and then more additional ones just get added into my roster, like I want them autoimmunes and different all different kinds of problems. And You know, to be, I mean, I think the most strangest thing that happened to me, I'm on this journey, was walking into that rehearsal and realizing those women were auditioning for me. And, you know, you're a teenage girl with disabilities and you're opening up teen magazine when you're 14 and a half and you're told how ugly you are, how you're not pretty, how you're not good enough, how you would never fit into any of this. You know, and of course they try to uplift you and do the inspiring thing. And I got the spotlight on Team Women Award, and they did my hair and makeup and took my little pictures when I'm 14 years old. You know, and I think at 25, they put me in some clothes that weren't adaptive, and we had a pretty little disability fashion show in the 90s. But I realized I sat there and I went, these women are auditioning for me, and none of them have self esteem, and they're models. Well, some of them did, but some of them did not.
Yeah.
And they're models.
Yeah.
And your idea of models is like, oh, they're supermodels, they love one another, and they're just perfect.
Mhm.
And I was like, they're not. I'm 50 years old now. And I'm like, they're not. And now they're auditioning for me. And the lighting up of their eyes when I chose them really messed with my brain because I was like, but I'm the one with the disability. I'm the one that I was told no. I'm told that you're not good enough. And now I'm making you feel like you're good enough and you're gorgeous and you're a model. And that just was so uniquely odd and empowering for me that it was this pivotal moment of like, what did I just walk into? And how did I just reform and reestablish my life by walking into fashion, modeling, and change? And that was huge. And so here's the question. Why are we all in this? I'm in this because I know that I'm always about adaptability and I want to make change and I want to make things that are easier for people. And this has got Velcro and, you know, and snaps on it. And, you know, maybe it's not the greatest prototype in the world, but it's a beautiful prototype right now. And they can only get better because it's the first one, right?
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
still, this is a gorgeous garment, you
Can
know?
can I tag you though on the models thing real
Yeah,
quick?
please.
I just want to add like the first time that I had people modeling for Zipper Buddy to be able to, you know, the products to be able to make the two-handed zipper be one-handed. I was so it was so important to me that I use real people who experience this, and it was it was kind of a life-changing moment to be finding and like this I felt this again with Christy, right? And like being in this situation, having this like fashion show coming up where it's so inclusive and we have all these different people with different abilities, and they're they're beautiful. They're confident. They're themselves. They have this like energy that makes me feel empowered. That makes me feel like it's okay to be myself, that it's okay for me to have my own struggles. And it's like it also um it shows me it's like this is why I'm doing it. And you see that
Mhm.
you have those moments, and so I don't know. I just
Why
Okay,
are
wanted
you
to
I'll
doing
jump
this?
in then, Sandy. I'll jump in.
Yeah,
I'm going to piggyback
please.
on everybody with intention. It
Mhm.
comes from intention and it comes from
Mhm.
saying, okay, I really love my industry, right? I started off in the modeling industry in the 1900s. I love to joke about that,
Mhm.
when there really was very little diversity, really, at all. And when I, first got into the business, and we were one of those agencies trying to make some changes then. Um, but to see that where it has to happen is within the industry. So when I hear like people with disabilities, like always like they're cheerleading, they're trying to get their message out there. it's got to be heard from within the business. So for me,
Mm.
it's like I am knee deep in the modeling and commercial photography and fashion world. And if not me, then who? Right? Like if not
Yeah.
me, right? I've got all of this at my disposal. Sophia, I just when you complimented me in such a way, to say if people hadn't heard about me, and that's just really that is like that brings me to tears, right? Because I feel like I have worked really hard throughout my career to make diversity and to make these things intentional as part of what the message I want to say and what we can do to change the industry. Photo, video, these live fashion shows have the power to change how we see each other. They have the power to bring education
Yeah.
to the masses, so to speak, right? There are ways that when you continue to see something, it becomes normal, no longer an anomaly.
Yeah.
And that is where the power happens. And as we do this together, like we begin the shift, you're feeling it now, Sandy. You're feeling it, Roxy. You're feeling it, Sophia.
Yeah.
We take that and we add that to our ripples, right? And we are building these communities. And yeah, I'm going to say we're doing it here in New England. And gosh darn it, Massachusetts, we are one of the most revolutionary states in this
You
gosh
bet.
darn country. We can start the change and we can really make it happen
Yeah.
on a level beyond even what we see right now. I truly believe that with all my heart.
And when my friend said, you could have this, you could have what we're doing right now, this show. I said, you got to be kidding me. I said, not back in 1999, nobody would have let the disabled girl they would have might have let me I'll be on the show as a guest and talk about me, and my advocacy work on the
Right. So
commission.
that they could point
Right.
at it, right?
They
It
could
becomes
point at
that
me and tell me
very
I'm the cutie.
Yeah.
Right. And like even when I was in the fashion show and they made the clothes for us, we were the cuties. But nobody would have said, "Oh, Roxy, go and have your own show. You got a great personality." When they were, and I said, and I looked at her and I said, "Nobody else is doing disability education, right?" She goes, "No, I wouldn't think so." And I said, "Well, I'm grabbing it. I don't care where the money's going to come from, but I'm doing this because look at what the power is that we get to do tonight."
But I mean, we talk about diversity, and as an African American female, I mean, do I have to say more, right? Trying
Right?
to I've been a part of the fashion industry since I was 12. I fell in love with the first realms of supermodels. And when um curves were acceptable, right? And then at some point it shifted and we were supposed to be sticks. But I feel I felt it that there was this kind of, there was this kind of wall up, and I was gonna get and maybe get, but I was never gonna get. And so the more I fell in love with the industry, the more I made it my mission to say, this is no longer about necessarily I mean, I would love to be on a cover of a magazine, but it's no longer about that anymore. It's really about feeling a sense of success and accomplishment. I started my own agency in 2024. Actually, yeah, we're a year
Wow.
old, guys. Um, and I started the agency not because I was looking to become a part of the competition. New England has a ton of agencies here, and I throw no shade on anyone, but I came into the idea of becoming a licensed agent because I wanted to be more of a manager. So I'm a mentor. I want to guide. I want to support. I want to help any and everyone that believes that this industry is somewhere they want to be a part of. Then I want to be a part of that journey with them. And their success fills me with success. So it's like I started off with the idea of I want to be on the cover. Oh, it's about me, 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 me. Right? I mean, I was 14, give me a break. And as I continued to be in the industry for now 20 something years, yes, I love to be in front of the camera, but I love it when my talent gets a booking. I love it when we have a sit down conversation and we're able to really understand what they're doing and the direction they're moving into. Our agency has not gotten to the place of Christy Raymond's, but I do feel that there is inclusion running through my agency from different perspectives. We have talent on the roster that has been diagnosed with autism, ADHD, learning disabilities, hearing, you name it, it's there. And I think 15 years ago when I first started working with other people's companies, I would have said, I don't know what to do with this talent. I don't know how to market them. Is there a market for them? Like that was always a fear that I don't want to take someone on the roster and then don't know what to do with them. And now in 2025, I'm like, yep, let's go. I got ideas. I know what I'm going to do. Yeah. So I'm just excited that I've evolved. I love the person that I've become in the way I'm looking at, everything. And then, this idea of, like Chrissy said, we've got to make the impact from within. You can't
Yeah.
look on the outside and point the fingers at what's not working. So everything that I didn't like that was happening doesn't happen at our agency. We're really working hard to make sure that people are with us and feeling good about what they're doing, whether they book or not book, right? Because I can't guarantee you book. That's the client's job, right? But my job is to help make sure that you feel confident and empowered when you walk into these auditions, that your self tapes are the best version that you can give to this client who only gets 34 seconds of, seeing who you are in that moment and making decisions. So I'm elated, I'm excited. And, I think these feelings have always been there, but having this actual conversation is like, they're bringing it. You know what I mean? You got tears forming up in the corners of my eyes where it's like the passion is there. And again, because it happens for me naturally, I don't see it as how other people see it, like, oh, you work with, and it's like, yeah, that's Kelly. What do you mean? You know what I mean? Like, that's just that's who she is. So just being able, I think part of society's areas of strengthening is that we need to accept people for who they are and meet them for exactly where they are, instead of this idea that we can change or groom people to be what we think they should be. And that's the message that I'm hoping I'm always it's kind of pouring out of my pores when you're around me and we're having these, conversations about everything.
So, I mean, I've already worked with Christy, but I have to say I was so elated and excited, Sophia, when you and I worked together this week and like we were getting to know one another and the synchrony that was happening and the passion that was there. And I was like, this is fantastic. Like, I mean, I know how to walk into different industries now and be able to like be okay, how do I make my adaptability and just be who I am? And it doesn't matter if it's fashion or if it's job development or if it's whatever. I'm still talking about the subject of disability and how to incorporate in that and why we need to have the dialogues that we have. And that's the whole mission and the intention and the passion and the that I'm Roxy, she's Sandy. That's and whoever the whatever those models are going to be, they're going to be on that platform and they're going to be phenomenal because of who they are.
Can we just like take can we just like all like hug ourselves for the fact
I'm good for
we
that
no
one. Yeah.
for real, like
Right?
we are all like female, we are women entrepreneurs out here doing our thing, running companies or doing our ventures, and like we also care, like we're trying to make a difference in the world.
Social impact, friends.
so
Social
Social
impact and change. It's
impact.
time for change.
Yes.
It's time for
that
change.
is
We
so
are, and we're
like
carrying each other
Mhm.
like
up. We're supporting
hugging
and
me
Right,
to
the
hug
pushing
lift
each other
up.
you.
up.
This is special. That's
It,
special.
it is. It
Mhm.
is.
That's special.
You there's always this stigma, right? That women can't get along, right? And
Yes.
we right, women don't get along. And again, I come from the African American community. They always say that we can't get along. We got an attitude. We don't know how to do nothing, right? We fist, we fight. And then you see this. This right here is the testament that, first of all, those are lies. Those are lies. Those probably I don't know who made it up. It was some guy. Because
Some man.
clearly, right,
Definitely a man.
women can work together. People can work together, and we are the example to say that each one of us has our own companies, and somehow, some way, we're finding ways that we can merge these companies together and pull each other up as entrepreneurs, as people who are passionate about the same topic. And it doesn't have to be that, Christy has an agency and Sophia has an agency and we can't work together. That's absolutely untrue. When Christy had the kid agency, I was on her phone, like, look, I don't want to compete with you. I want to work with you. I want to be in the same space with you. So what can we do to meet halfway so that everyone is getting what they need from this pursuit that they've decided to join in: models, actors, singers, dancers, etc. So when you told us to stop and hug, that's where I went to, and saying, there's that stigma that people are crabs in a barrel and we're all standing on top of each other to get to the top, and that's not what I see or feel when I'm in certain spaces, and I just love it.
One of my taglines for Embracing Disability, which is the parent company of everything that I do except for my wellness, is a hog knows no disability.
That's right.
Right? And the whole reason for that is even the fashion in a world that don't fit us.
Right.
Fashion in a world that don't fit us. So we got to make it adaptable so we can fit into that world. And that's the intention, that's the inclusion. And then us lifting each other up, us high-fiving, hugging, connecting, and being together as women, as entrepreneurs. Every single one of us have a company, girls. Ladies, we are women in power.
Yes.
And we're doing a movement that is a very beautiful and powerful movement. Okay, we came here to talk about, and we're going to need to wrap this up. Christy's got to go to bed. We could be here. We're going to have to do this show all over again soon.
Yes, we're gonna have a part 2, 3, 4, 5.
Exactly.
This conversation can keep going and going and going.
100%.
10, 11,
Yes.
12, 13.
Give me a highlight of what our intention is for New England Fashion Week. I will go
Ooh,
last. Just give
awesome.
me your intention of what New England Fashion Week. It is next Saturday, ladies.
Yes,
What
November
what is
1st. It's November 1st. It's going to be in Braintree, Massachusetts. You can check out our social media. But the intent, honestly, first and foremost, is to put on a quality, entertaining event. I want everyone to walk out of there and say, I'm glad I chose to spend my time with them, because you could be somewhere else and you've chosen to be with us. So I think that's the first thing that my intention is that I want you to continue to be like, that was a good choice I made, right? Because there's times we go places and we're like, man, I wish I had stayed home. Oh, I could have had my ice cream in bed. So that's my first intent. And then my second intent is to really, my hopes is that the designers really get a genuine opportunity to showcase their designs so that people in the audience um, would want to continue conversations with them, check out their website, etc. I personally, along with a couple of other models, have personally worked with each model that's going to be a part of New England Fashion Week, working with them on their walks, their turns, building confidence. Because, to be honest, I didn't reject anyone that auditioned for New England Fashion Week. I know I was supposed to. I was supposed to say your walk isn't that good, and you're too short, and you're this, and then that just goes against my motto of being inclusive. So for me, it was, if you're committed to working hard and making sure that you really present yourself in a manner that is going to be captivating to others, then I'm willing to give you my time. So we've had rehearsals. We're working on their walks. We've incorporated something slightly different than a lot of other fashion weeks do. So we're hoping that the audience receives, the what we're including. We hope the audience receives it in a lovely way. We hope the designers receive it in a manner that works. But I think I really just want a good old fashioned night of networking, positivity, inspiring each other, motivating, and empowerment. I mean, like just a good old fashioned night of yes, yes, and yes, right? I mean, no words. I think that's what I want. I want people to walk away with, like, I've got no words. I can't wait to see the video.
Christy, what do you got for us?
I think that, like, I think for every event that I do is the intention is that this is normal, that this is just what life looks like, and this is what we are going to see and expect to see in mainstream across everywhere.
Sandy, go for it, girl. Tell us your intention for New England Fashion
You're on
Week.
mute.
At the end of the day, no, I mean, I obviously created a product that I want to allow for people to have their own independence, to be able to do things how they want to do with their own garments. But the bigger message behind all of it is that I want you to be you. I want people to be themselves, however that means. I want people to feel accepted. I want people to recognize and embrace that their differences are what's powerful. And I want everyone to feel included. That's like that's the goal of everything that I do is I want people to feel good about themselves. And yeah, I want people to feel good and themselves and confident about that.
We're gonna make it
Well,
happen.
you guys have been making me cry,
I
and
know I'm
my
like trying not
joy,
to.
my joy is just getting like my heart is like everywhere. Like right now, like I'm just enormous. It's like I can't even like, I've done a lot of work in disability, but this one, it's play. It's utter joy. Like this one like brings me to childhood and just wants me to leap in the air and want to play. So I think what I want is I really want that world to be educated. You know, and Sandy, I'm gonna take you with me and we're gonna strut around and be like, we're designers, baby. You don't worry about your elevator pitch. I'll make sure you got a good one or three of them by the end of the day.
Let's do it.
And I want people to know that we're there and we're educating and we're providing platforms. I haven't even figured out what I'm going to do yet, but I'm probably going to do little clips and sound bites, around because I now am a media host and I'm going to be working on fashionista lifestyle strategist types of opportunities while I'm building this new adaptability world. And I want people to know that they're models. They might be models with disabilities, but they're models. They're part of the industry.
Yep.
That we're not just saying, oh, look at them, and you're react, oh, how amazing. They're so inspiring. No, I
No.
want to change their mind that we're so part of the equation. That, hi, I'm Roxy and I own a media company. Hi, that's Christy and she owns this inclusive company and we're elevating that. There's Safia and she has an agency as well and she's got inclusive in the roster. This is part of, and there's Sandy and she's a designer and she wants adaptability to be a change of life because people need this. We need this. So I want people to be in that room and be like, wait a minute, they just are just saying that this is part of life. And that's the point. Embracing disability, my company, is about that's the point. And this is what Christy talks about all the time. That inclusion, it's not hard. This is the point. This is about life. We're part of the equation. We're part of society. So now you're seeing it and we're here. So I'm walking in as Roxy B. Rocker and I'm walking out as something different that day but I'm walking out as something different that is going to be more lifestyle. It's lifestyle of adaptability.
It's
Yeah.
And
Pinterest.
yeah, what is it?
Pinterest. I don't know if that was
Yeah,
that was
that
a
could
joke
be a
maybe for
Pinterest, but
me
yeah, but it's
only. I don't know if
lifestyle
you guys, because
adaptability.
Pinterest is like lifestyle.
Well,
I thought
and
it
the
was funny.
thing about
When
it
people,
is
right, when people need to be inspired though, right? They should go to, you want to have this content out there. So when they go there, that's what they're finding. It's
correct.
your content, is
Correct.
your stories, is your products,
Mhm.
is your designs.
Yeah.
So they can style themselves with their own confidence.
Yeah. You know, we got our brands everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, ladies, any where we could go
I
on for another hour, I'm sure. Is there anything else that we need to add? I know we need to close this out. You were all fabulous. We're gonna have to all get together again, and I'm gonna have to figure out my lifestyle show, so you guys are gonna be like the stars of that often. Yeah, like, you're just gonna have to be. We're gonna have to be the stars of that often, because we're gonna be starting that movement.
Okay.
So, I don't know what that lifestyle show is gonna be called yet, or when it's gonna start, but it's coming in 26.
Disability
Um,
patties.
well, it's a lifestyle show all around this Roxy brand, but we are the beginning stages of what we're gonna be building here. And that's the important piece of it. Any other last minute words? We're gonna have the greatest show on earth on Saturday. Besides Ringling Brother Barely Circus, ours is gonna even be a bigger and better.
Tickets on Eventbrite.
That's right.
Tickets on
Buy the
Eventbrite,
tickets.
and
Join us.
tickets are on embracing-disability.com as well. If you go to my website, embracing-disability.com, you will find the homepage with the upcoming events, and Fashion Week is on there.
Woohoo.
There you go. Woo-hoo.
All right. Any other
Get
last words?
tickets.
We rock.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
loves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Roxy B. Rocker. You just had the most fabulous interview with the most fabulous team of inclusion and adaptability. And you can feel our fire. You can feel our passion. You can feel our mission of intention, that this is just about life, everyone. We're not asking you anymore to include us in society. We're asking you to understand that we are in society. So, I love you, ladies. I cannot wait for next Saturday. And I cannot wait until what we're going to do in this world to really build this into something very special. And tonight's episode was very it was beyond powerful. It was it had an essence to it that I think people really will catch the fire that we're up to.
Love it.
Thank
Thanks,
you for
Mary.
joining
Night,
us on our
ladies.
special segment of Embracing What's Possible with Roxy. Tune in to our Gratitude of Leadership series coming up in November. But first, New England Fashion Week. Take care now, everybody, and have a great evening.
I'm embracing what's possible, heart open wide, where fear used to whisper, now love is my guide. I'm not just surviving, I'm setting the pace, wearing my story with shimmering grace. From shadows to spotlight, I rise and I sing, embracing what's possible, changes everything. This is your Prospera era, where dreams align with grace, abundance flows like rivers. You've stepped into your place. Rise, reign, and remember, you were born to shine. Welcome to your moment, Prospera, it's time.
We hope you enjoyed today's show on Prospera TV Network. Make it a point to visit us on YouTube and catch all your favorite shows anytime you want. Interested in hosting a show of your own? Or advertising your business on our network? Contact Elena Rodriguez.